Hey guys, I am super excited to be here and do a video today with one of my amazing clients, Jennifer or Jen. And she has done some awesome things in her business and truly super inspiring. And I just want her to come on and share her experience with you guys because I think as someone who's getting started in a business, a lot of times we don't know what to expect in the beginning. And I think so many of us go through the same thing of like self-doubt, and we see other people doing it and we're like, oh, they can do it, but I can't do it, and get this feeling. And so I really want Jen to come on and share her experiences so that you guys can kind of see where she's coming from and what she's been through and a bit of the journey as far as what it's like when we work together and just the things that you go through starting a business and the things that you really learn along the way. So Jen, thank you so much for joining me, and I'm super excited to have you share. And what I'd love to start with is just if you want to tell everyone a little bit of background about you and your business, just to kind of give people a bit of background where you're coming from.
Sure, absolutely. Well, I've got 3 kids and a husband, and this whole journey with wanting to help people with their health started about 6 years ago when my oldest daughter was diagnosed with celiac disease and also type 1 diabetes. And over the course of the last 6 years, it has led me to where I am today, finally with a business where I'm reaching people and able to change lives with food and heal through food and mindset and all that wonderful stuff that we learned working with you, Kristin.
Yeah. And what tell us like a little bit about, because when we first connected and when you first reached out to me, tell me a bit about what was going on for you in your business and like where you were at that point.
Oh, it's a dark place. It wasn't that bad, it was pretty bad. So prior to working with Kristin, I had worked with someone else over the course of about a 12 to 14 month period. And I think what I was missing most in that relationship was structure. I was doing a lot of things right in the sense of I was creating great content, and I was building sort of a Facebook group of people that were of like mind. But there was no like, you do this next, and then you do this, and then we do this. So I was just craving that sort of, because I'm very much that type of person where if it's laid out for me, I can follow the steps and get it done. So I was just literally a hamster in a wheel. I felt like my wheels were spinning. Eventually, obviously, this relationship dissolved and I was no longer working with anyone. And I just felt so helpless, so frustrated, so overwhelmed. I started to try and do it by myself. And I quickly learned over the course of a few months that it's just too much. It's just way too much stuff for someone that's never done this before to just jump in. Now, I probably could have figured it out, but it would have taken me years as opposed to just a few months of working with you to get on sort of the fast track to this, exactly what it was that I needed.
Yeah. And this is kind of common, I think, where either we work with someone else or we try it on our own and just like end up like spinning our wheels and not really getting anywhere, especially if you don't have like step-by-step what to do. I think it's really hard because most of us have never run a business and don't know what we're doing. And the thing, like when we met, I remember like looking at your website and everything, and I'm like, oh my gosh, everything's like awesome. You have such great stuff and content, but you didn't have like a good plan to get it out there in front of people was, I think, kind of like what was
absolutely
missing.
Like I was like bubbling up inside, like it was taking over me, like all the stuff that I wanted to get out in the world, and I had absolutely no idea how to do it. Or I've tried several ways, but how to successfully, So
yeah. So I think that's kind of can be like a good thing for all of us to know too, because sometimes we can look around and see people's stuff and even their website or whatever, and we're like, oh, they must be like super successful. And like you can do the things that maybe look right, or maybe, they're kind of like steps that you think you should take, but it's like having that whole plan in place really makes a huge difference.
Yes, it does.
Yeah. Hey, Dee, Rochelle, Ava, Crystal, Bianca. Am I saying everyone's name right? Sarah. Yeah, we have a bunch of people joining, so that's awesome. So why don't you tell us like a little bit then about kind of the experience of us working together and what changed for you through the experience and at the end?
Well, interestingly enough, I remember having the conversation with you and telling you like, look, I've got the mindset thing down. I know my ideal client. Like, you don't need to motivate me. Like, I'm going to do it. I just need the plan. And believe it or not, some of the biggest takeaways for me was a lot of the mindset stuff, a lot of how to deal with, you know, those fears and that anxiety that do pop up. And even though I feel like I've got it all together and nothing's going to stop me from getting my message out there, like that stuff is real and you deal with it on the daily. And so being able to deal with that better was a huge part of my success, I think. And for me, it was a lot of the mindset that you talk about as far as like visualizing. And I read a couple of the books that you suggested. And I think one sort of phrase or quote that stuck out was thoughts become things. So if we are constantly allowing those negative thoughts, those fears, that anxiety to run us, we are never going to get it done. So it's, you know, I like, even sometimes I like just trick myself into believing it. Like I will literally say things, even if that voice in my head comes up and says, oh no, that's not achievable. You're not going to do that. I believe that if you constantly do it, if you constantly say it, it will eventually change. Your thoughts will become things. So that was a big takeaway. And obviously that, you know, your structured plan, like it was exactly what I needed. It was very timely. You know, you were willing to work at the pace that I wanted to go. So that was awesome. Yeah, I mean, those were some huge takeaways for me.
Yeah, definitely. Let's talk, because I know one thing that we worked on with you and that we kind of switched from where you were at was ideal client. So tell us like just a little bit about that, because I know it's something that so many people struggle with.
Yeah. Well, yeah, again, right? Like I thought I had it all figured out. I was like, Kristin, you know, we can have the ideal client call, but I already got this. And like one of the first things you said to me was like, well, what's going to motivate them to switch? So I'm backtracking, but so kind of helping people transition to a plant-based lifestyle was what I initially wanted to do. I'm very passionate about that. I believe it's a healthy way to live. But you said to me like, well, you know, what in your life led you to that point? You didn't just wake up one day and all of a sudden we're plant-based. Like, let's dig a little bit deeper and see why and how you got there. And obviously, like, the transitional point in my life was my daughter's diagnosis. And so with her celiac and type 1 diabetes, like, that just sort of set all this into motion and is why I started to look harder into the healthiest way to live, the healthiest way to eat, to how to heal her body from the damage that was done. And that's kind of when the light bulb went off, and you and I just talked about that, and you're like, those are the people you need to reach. Like, those are the women that you need to speak to, and that's going to give them, you know, that motivation to be like, yes, that's the help I need. Because I just had this conversation with my husband not too long ago when we were talking about the price of my program, and I'm like, babe, like, if you could have told me 6 years ago in that place, like if I would have found me, like someone who's doing what I'm doing, I would have paid freaking 5 times what I'm asking. Like, that's just, it doesn't, at that point, it doesn't matter the price. It's just something that in your life that needs to change. And if you can help women do that, or men, whoever, you know, people are going to pay for that.
Yeah, definitely. I think it's so important to understand like ideal client from a marketing perspective, and that how to present it in a way that people want it and they're looking for it. And understanding that is a huge thing where a lot of people get stuck too. And you made that transition and it so resonates with people. And like you said, it's people really, really need it. And if you look back in your own story and you're like, oh my gosh, yes, this is so something that I would have paid for. I mean, it's things that people are really, really struggling with. And so you mentioned your price point too. So let's talk about that too. Like how did your price point change from like before we started working together to after?
Well, just a little backstory about me. Like, I grew up
Yeah.
learning how to stretch a dollar. Like, my mom had 5 kids. She didn't work. So, like, I learned at a very young age what it was like. So, for me to put that kind of price tag on something that I was going to be, working with a client, like, it was really hard for me. That was a big part. But it didn't recently click. It just recently sort of clicked, because not only what I just said to you about like what I would have paid in that moment, but the fact that it's, I don't even know how to explain it really, but it's like what you're giving people is life-changing. And you can't put a price tag on that, but you also have to realize the time and energy that's involved. And I don't think anyone would scoff if they knew the results that they were going to get from working with health coaches like us. Like,
yeah.
So yeah, it was a bit of a mind block for sure, but I feel very confident with the price, and I definitely see me raising it eventually.
So. It'll probably be way sooner than you think. Yeah. So, okay. The other thing you mentioned was like, tell us a little bit about, because a big thing for you is like having the systems and the step-by-step. So to build up the community of the people you're trying to reach. So tell us a bit about like what's changed as far as your community and the people you've been able to get in front of, and what's that looks like for you.
I think this, again, is a lot of like mindset and visualization, but I feel like once I really accepted that I was going to be changing lives, and I was thinking that, I was kind of thinking myself as like a magnet, like my ideal clients were just going to be drawn to me. Like, this is what I was praying, this is what I was visualizing, and doors just started opening up. So my Facebook group is going absolutely amazing. I love the interaction. I've got over 500 in there now, and that's in addition to my other Facebook group. My list, with some of the opt-ins and the freebies that I put out there that you kind of set up and walk us through, like, they're continuing to bring in people every day. I think my email list is like 800 now.
Awesome. That's really awesome.
Yeah. So, it's all good stuff. And so, as I was saying, like, as far as opening doors, like, I'm actively seeking opportunities to kind of get in front of people. So in addition to working online, I just did a speaking gig at church, and I've got now people coming to me. I've at least 5 people that could be ideal clients.
Oh my gosh, yay.
Yeah. So, and just like trying to think of little things. Like, a girlfriend of mine wants to host a little cooking party at her house. So I thought, sure, why not? Like, I'll go over, I'll do a couple demonstrations, and then hopefully, who knows, pass out my information. But just being active, taking small active steps to grow your business, to get out there in front of people.
Yeah. You're opening the doors like for yourself by putting it out there. And once you do that, it's just amazing what can happen.
Yeah.
I think so many of us just hold ourselves back from that.
Yes. Lots of things.
Yeah.
And it keeps happening. So
I love it so much. Tell us about the challenge, because you just ran like a challenge or like a little group too, and you want to tell us just like a little bit about that?
Sure. So I put together this 3-week challenge. It's called the PB3, and it's 3 weeks of plant-based, gluten-free meals. This is something I literally have sat on for over a year. So again, it wasn't until working with, because I didn't know how to put it out there. I didn't know the steps to take. So I've got a group of like over 30 women in there, and the feedback has been absolutely amazing. It's again, when you get those like little bits of like, it's validating what you're doing. You're getting so excited for the other people that are having success. Like, it just, it keeps you going. It keeps you excited to do more. So yeah, in fact, I'm going to hopefully try and figure out a way to make this something that I can keep going constantly. But for right now, it was, a 3-week challenge that we're wrapping up this week. So
that's so awesome. You're just rocking it in so many different ways. It makes me so excited.
The crazy part is I still have not even done my live webinar in my group. So I need to do that.
And the thing is, like, that's fine. Like, if you don't, you might not even need to do it, right? Like, if you're getting people, like, it might be something you decide you want to do, but if you're, all that matters is you're, you know, getting the people that you want to be reaching. And so,
right.
yeah, which is awesome. So, hey, Connie, Amy, I'm just seeing what people say. Yeah, challenges are awesome. They can be a really great thing to do. Hey, Pri, Dee is saying she named her negative inner voice Debbie. That makes me think of, do you remember Saturday Night Live? And it was like, is it Debbie Downer?
Yes. Yes.
Right. It's so true.
Yeah, it is. I like naming it. That's good. That way you can talk to them. Like,
Yeah.
no, Jasmine, you're not going to speak that way to me.
Yeah. Right? We all need to do that for sure. So what about, like, what has changed? Has anything else changed for you? Like anything personally, or like anything's besides, like outside of your business, have you seen any changes or things that rippled or personally for you?
Well, yes. I was in tears talking to my husband right before I signed with you because I was at my wit's end. We had no more money. Like I had not been working for over 2 years because I also have I just had a baby. And so I was working on the business. And I remember just coming to him and we had just, again, lost money working with this other gentleman. And I knew, or at least I felt in my heart, he was not going to say yes to investing in anyone else. But I knew I needed it. I knew I needed the help. And I'm just so glad he did. I'm so glad he's so supportive. And I'm so glad that I did work with you because in one of the last phone calls that I had with you, I was at a kind of a frustrating point, as we all get, right? When we're trying to land a client and you were just like, well, what do you want? It didn't name a price. And I said, I want to make over $3,000, or I want to make $3,000 this month. And I can tell you that I more than exceeded that goal. And I just, like, again, you put it out there, you say the word, that holds you accountable to actively work towards that. So, you know, granted, it's been just a few months, so I'm not like, you know, all the financial stress isn't off me, but I see the end of the rainbow. Like I see where this is going. I'm so positive. I'm so just excited about it. So obviously the financial part is a huge one, but time management, I learned so much about really being able to prioritize my time and focus on what I need to get done in certain windows of time. This is my new best friend, 98 cents at Walmart. Yep, lady.
Nice, the timer. I love it.
Because I can't use this. If I use this, then I get distracted with all the notifications. So I have to turn that off. I use it here. I set, you know, my goals for what I want for the day. And so that has freed up time with my children. I've got more time to play with them outside. Like, I just feel like I've got a better grasp on my day-to-day life. And I don't just use the word, oh, I'm so busy. Like, I'm just busy anymore. Like, it's really just about making what you want a priority, making that a priority, and finding those time slots to do it. So
I love that. That's so, I mean, and this is all you, like, all taking action, putting it in place. Like, it's awesome, Jen. Like, I'm so excited for you. And this is just the beginning. Like, you know, just the beginning. So what's possible from here is, like you said, the sky, like anything. So, so what would you say to people who are hesitant to hire a business coach, or maybe like in a spot kind of like where you are, where you're like spinning your wheels, and you know, what would you say to them, or what would you recommend to them, or any words of wisdom that you would give to anyone who's kind of feeling stuck in their business?
Well, I like to listen to motivational things on YouTube every once in a while. And this morning I was listening to the one, and what they said was so profound. It said that, I wrote it down just so I don't mess it up, but motivation is not the cause of action, but instead it's the byproduct. So, like, in other words, don't expect you to wake up one day and be like, yes, I'm motivated to figure X, Y, and Z out, or I'm motivated to pay this price to get what I need done. Like, no, you need to just do it. Like, be like, you know, like I went out on a leap of faith with you, and I'm so glad that I did. I'm so grateful for this process. But just know, I truly believe now that you don't have it all. We are never going to know everything. So why not work with someone that has the knowledge, that's been there, done it, gone through it. I mean, after all, that's why we want people to work with us, right? Like we've been there, we've gone through it. So just having that help and that assistance, and not only that, but within the group, a bunch of wonderful women that are like going along this journey with you to the struggles, and they also help pick you up when you're having a down day and celebrate your wins. So yeah, just do it. Like, just do it. Take the leap of faith. Know that you're never going to be motivated to spend the money, but it's an investment in your future. It's an investment in your business.
Oh, I love it so much, Jen. It's awesome. Once again, like super inspiring. Like I'm so inspired by all that you've done and just who you are and putting it out there. And you have such an amazing message. So it's been such an honor to work together and to help you get this work that people so desperately need out in front of the right people. Like it's awesome. So let me just see. Let me know if you guys have any questions, people who are watching. So Pri was asking how long we've been working together. So we've been working together for about 4 months. And hey, Maggie. Maggie's saying she's very happy for you.
Oh, Maggie, congrats on your client.
Yeah. So yeah, if you guys have any other questions for Jen or I, feel free to ask them, or if you catch the replay, to ask them. If you guys are feeling, if any of you are feeling stuck in your business, you're looking for support and you need help, I would be happy to speak with you about that. I will put a link somewhere around this video and you can sign up for a call with me and we can talk about how you can move forward from wherever you're feeling stuck, whatever you're feeling stuck with, and really start taking action, because you don't have to do it all on your own. And it's truly nearly impossible to figure it out on your own. I mean, I worked with a coach when I've started in my business too. So I didn't figure it out on my own either. So I think if there's anything else, I don't think so. Do you have anything else you want to add, Jen?
No, just that it's crazy to say this now, but it's like, I'm even like thinking about the next step of who else I can invest in to, like, just take the next step. So like for me to say that is crazy, but yeah, I just want to thank you, honestly, from the bottom of my heart. I'm surprised I didn't cry because I'm a very emotional person, but you really have changed my life. And I'm so, so happy that I did take that leap of faith with you. And I just love your personality. That's why, I sought you out, you resonated with me, and I'm hopeful that other women will see that too.
Thank you so much, Jen. You're gonna make me cry. Well, like I said, it was an honor to work together, and truly, I think you're absolutely amazing, and I'm so excited that you're out there and you're doing the work and making the money and continue. It's just going to continue to go up from here. So it's awesome.
Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah. And thank you, Jen, so much for coming on and sharing this, because I know other people are going to find it super inspiring.
Good. I hope so.
Yeah. Yay. Yeah. So if anyone else has any questions for Jen or I, we're happy to answer them, and you can post them and we can hop in the group and answer them too. So Jen, thank you so much for hopping on and sharing your experiences. And thank you everyone who joined us. I love seeing all you guys and having you join. So I hope everyone has an amazing rest of your day. Any questions at all, make sure you reach out to me and I'm happy to answer them. So thank you, Jen. You're welcome, Dee. And I will talk to all you guys soon.
All right.
Bye. Thanks, Jen.
Thank you.